U.S.-backed fighters moved into the last ISIS stronghold in Syria. As it now appears, some 1,000 or so U.S. troops might remain in the country despite the president's promise to withdraw. Joining us now to discuss, former Pentagon official Mike Maloof. All right, Mike, we know the Syrian withdrawal is what sparked the former SecDef, Jim Mattis, to resign over the holidays. Now we know that although ISIS is greatly weakened, they are still active. The official word is denial of keeping this 1,000 or so troops on the ground there. But is that such a bad idea?
It depends upon whose perspective. From the U.S. perspective, yeah, it's a great idea. And in fact, the national security team under Trump wants that. And Trump has sort of agreed, yeah, well, maybe I'll hold off, and had a 3-month window. Initially, it was going to be 400 to hang out.
Right.
And now it's up to 1,000. Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is denying that report out of the Wall Street Journal at this point. However, it makes a lot of sense that they're going to be doing something like that for a variety of reasons. And one of which is that Al-Tanf down at the juncture of Jordan, Iraq, and Syria is critical from the U.S. perspective to try and stop Iranian projections into Syria and toward the Mediterranean.
Again, we hear Iran, the key word here in the Middle East.
It's all about Iran. Yeah.
And speaking of Dunford, General Joseph Dunford says he will continue to execute the president's plans, quote, in the direction to draw down U.S. forces to a residual presence. All right, that is DOD jargon. What does that mean to us in plain language?
That's defense speak for whatever the president decides that morning.
Okay.
And, you know, it can change again. Trump has agreed to delay. Initially, he wanted them all out. He had called Erdogan of Turkey saying, let's make a deal. I'll pull them out, you set up a safe zone, and off we go. And then he was going to move troops into Iraq.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a great idea from the Iraqi perspective, and that's creating yet another issue. And that gets to why keep 1,000? And initially, because it was 400.
Right.
Well, it suggests to me that they wanted 1,000 on standby in Iraq to watch Iran.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
But however, because of the dispute that the U.S. now has with Turkey over safe zone, because Turkey insists upon manning it, nobody wants it except Trump. Well, the problem is that east of the Euphrates, the problem is going to be that if the U.S. cannot bring troops into Iraq because legislators there decide to take action, where do they go? They may have to go up into the east of the Euphrates into eastern Syria. And that is a possibility. And no one's talking about that yet, but that in order to keep that proverbial eye on Iran. But there's no land connection between Syria and Iran as you have between Iraq and Iran.
Now, Dunford talked about this transition phase in Syria. That's more DOD jargon. So talk to us about that and how Turkey might play into all of this transition phase. Well,
because of what I just said, Turkey is a problem in that it wants to it wants to basically come in and police.
And they want the U.S. out.
And they want the U.S. out. U.S. has other interests. They may need that east of the Euphrates that Turkey wants to occupy in order to station its troops if need be. Plus, it wants to protect its allies. Pompeo, the Secretary of State, just reaffirmed we're going to protect our allies, notwithstanding what Turkey says. So we got another issue that's brewing here. So in meantime, Russia's just watching. It doesn't particularly want, it doesn't particularly want a safe zone. And the Syrians want, and the Russians want Syria to maintain whatever safe zone there might be, to police whatever safe zone there might be. Right. Turkey does not want that.
Lots of moving parts.
Sure.
As always, our pulse to the DOD. Mike Maloof, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.